Good morning. Good morning, good morning. See if it'll let me connect this time. How is everyone doing today? Let's see. I'm still not seeing us, guys. I'm looking for it. There it is. Hello. Good morning and welcome. I realized this as I was typing things in today. We are almost at episode 50. Episode 50 is here. We're 2 away. So before the end of the year, we will officially hit it. Let me mute this. Okay, so I want to do some housekeeping first. I was in Florida for the holiday and way longer than planned and barely any service. So me getting our emails out, it just didn't happen. And then I let family take over. So I apologize. We're going to get going on our seed. I have it all mapped out. So I just got to send you the email today when I get upstairs. So seed swap is coming. I know, or I guess I don't know. If holidays are as crazy for you as they are for me, you might, understand. So what are you guys currently doing? Good morning from Utah and Kentucky. Oh, finally, I got the comments up, guys. Good morning. It is freezing here. It's freezing here. We had 17 degrees when we came in, or I drove in this morning. But I saw a bald eagle this morning. You may be in an area where you see a lot of them, but I don't. And it's like this one part of my drive that I come through. I see one like twice a year, so it's nice. Good morning from Southern California. Good morning, Christina. How's it going? Are the seeds still available? Yes, seeds are definitely still available. You'll have to forgive me because, like I said, I haven't been out in about 2 weeks, so I don't know our full inventory. Ooh, -4, Jenny. Yikes. I don't know exactly what our inventory is, so that doesn't necessarily mean everything is full in stock right now, but our team is packing away. So if things come out of stock, remember they will go back into stock. Yay! Are you guys getting your seeds? I'm starting to see it on Instagram and Facebook of people posting their seed orders. Make sure you're tagging us in that because we like to see your joy. It's like Christmas before Christmas, right? Are there certain varieties that you guys were most excited about this year? I'm curious what you guys think. Here, I'm going to pull up our new list. Maybe not. I thought it was readily available. There it is. Are there certain varieties that you guys found this year that you're like, yes? Hey, Chicken Patty. Kansas City, hello. Hey, Helen. Nebraska. Hello from Ann Arbor. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you. Stool layering blueberries. Stool? Still? Dreamy days. What you doing? I don't know what you're doing. I got my prize from the seed launch, but it wasn't oh no, Wicked. What were you supposed to get and what did you get? I'll talk to Katie after and see what happened. I bought seeds for my niece. She just moved out of her parents' house and she's excited to have her own garden. Ugly Homestead, that's awesome. You're helping her start her own legacy, so bravo to you. I get seeds for everyone for Christmas. Like, even if I happen to get them something, a different gift, there's usually always a packet of seeds in it. So, double bloom season for my clematis. That sounds beautiful. Hey, Tim, that makes sense. New varieties don't excite everyone. He likes the tried and true ones. Nice. North Star, good morning. How are you today? I won fresh picked, and the package was much heavier than expected. Oh, Okay, that doesn't sound like a terrible thing, Wicked. Helen, go ahead and email customer service at MIgardener. Customer service at MIgardener.com. Taylor will go ahead and answer that for you about a grab bag. Yeah. Or at least send you the tracking info on where it was, and you should be able to figure it out. Yeah, Wicked Awesome Gardening. I think you should keep that little secret to yourself. All right, guys, what's on your garden Christmas list? That's what I want to talk about today, because everyone around me is like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You know, and they're used to people being like, I want clothing, or I want whatever. And one thing that's on my list is my in-laws are getting me soil blockers. And they are not the gardening type at all. And they are the kind who want to buy you other things. And he's like, are you sure you want this? And I was like, yes, this is what I want. Do you guys get any kickback like that from your Christmas list? Because I know I do. Which I literally send you the link like this. And they're like, are you sure? Yeah. Yeah, soil blocker. Randy, they ordered it from Johnny's. That's where we got soil. The Hori Hori. Yes. The Hori Hori, I think, will always be my favorite tool. In reality, it's not very expensive. It's when I bought mine, I'm pretty sure it was low 20s. And it is the best multi-tool I've ever used. I need a new tiller, and I've been a good girl. Oh, that's good. So much kickback. Okay, so I'm not alone on it. I had someone else who asked, they're like, what do you want? And I was like, give me a couple bales of Pro Mix. That'll be good. They're like, no, I'm not getting you dirt. And I was like, ooh, please. Okay, do you guys sell liquid fertilizers on the website? Yes, so we do have the fish emulsion, and then we have soil enhancers like our Sassy Lass, which feeds the microbes in your soil. So it's not necessarily a plant itself fertilizer, it's a soil fertilizer, which feeds your plants, you know. Stepping stones, heavy-duty tomato cages, and potting bench with wheels. Nice. Hori Hori. So, okay, you guys are all in on the Hori Hori. Lots of garden stakes and a small greenhouse. The dehydrator. If you don't have a dehydrator, I am highly suggesting you give that idea to someone on your Christmas list, because I have 3 and they run almost nonstop in the summer, and it's amazing how much you can put up with it. Pressure canner, nice. How do I best get the sticky goo from plants off? Vinegar. I use vinegar to get goop off my plants, even with like my hive tools for beekeeping. Vinegar is what takes it off for me. I just let them soak in a mason jar. A shredder and a chipper. Nice. Is it a combo tool, or are you getting 2 separate tools? And for shredder, are you talking about like shredding leaves? Because if you have a garbage can and a string trimmer, that works as a shredder. Just a heads up. So since we talk about coffee, have you guys checked these things out? I'm going to shameless plug mugs, because mugs are my favorite thing in the world. I'm a big fan of like handcrafted mugs. But we finally got Cindy and Luke on board about having a mug line, because they know how obsessed I am by it. And these things are awesome. You can put plants in them. This one sits on my desk at school and holds my pens and whatnot. Just too cute. Oh, so mugs are always on my Christmas list. That's not necessarily a garden tool, but, well, I take that back. It is, because I start my morning with a cup of coffee that I drink in the garden, and I get like 3 sips in on it, and I set it down and go do something in the garden, and then it's like a scavenger hunt to find it later. I can't find a metal garbage can. I've looked everywhere. Chicken patty, I get mine from Family Farm and Home. I know, aren't they? Yeah. Trash can and a weed trimmer. That's a great idea. Yeah, so you put your your leaves down in it, and I do it in layers. So I'll put like, a good chunk because it'll condense once it chops. Stick your weed trimmer in it, and the noise isn't pleasant, especially if you're using a metal can because it'll, touch the side of the can. And trim it up, and then you add more in and trim it up, and it's genius. Then you don't have a tool that only has one purpose. Microwave safe. Yes. Yeah, all these will be microwave safe. No doubt. This one's cool too. Keep calm and garden on. I like it. Metal can at Rural King. Yeah, Rural King is similar to like our family farm and home. We don't have one very close to us. I have to go like 2 hours to get to a Rural King. Couple weeks. Oh, Home Depot, they say. Okay, Green Bee Explorer. I just moved and no garden exists. So now I have to start with a bucket garden while I build my garden beds. We'll be making this a story. Yes, Green Bee. I'm glad you're going to document it because how cool that you have the opportunity to start over and try new things. So very cool. Yeah, you can run over them with your mower too, Chester. That is another way to do the mulching. The reason I like the garbage can better is because I don't lose as much of it just on the grass. But both work very well. Baby chicks to admire at Rural King too. Good morning, Robin. How are you today? Okay. Here's my last shameless plug for this, and then I'll actually tell you the other things on my Christmas list. This one's not, because I already own it. I just learned this morning that if you're looking for our garden book for Christmas, if you order it by the 12th, that is in 5 days, you will get a signed copy. When you order it, you have to put in the comment box, like, please sign my book. When you order it, you have to put in the comment box, please sign my book. I said it twice. That way they're easier for us to like set aside and sit Luke down at a table with a big stack of books. So if you're getting a book, get it by the 12th, and then you get like a 2-for-1. Oh, huge garden to me this year from scratch, and then the landlord sold the building and had to take it all back down to the ground last week. I would be very sad too. Wicked awesome gardening, but you have the opportunity to start new. So, yes, it's a bummer, but start new. Yeah, ask him to have it signed. Okay, so things on my Christmas list. Soil blocker is the big one. Not the big one. Honestly, soil blockers are not that expensive. I got 2 of them. I got the 20 blocks, which are I don't know the measurements of the blocks. I think it's 3/4 inch, if I have to guess. And then I got the 2-inch, which is the 4 across blocker. 3/4 inch fits right inside it. Does everyone know what a soil blocker is? Oh, yeah, it's not carpet pieces. It's like moss. It's dried moss, and it is beautiful. It's actually a very cool statement piece. You can see it from outside the window. And all of us girls will like put our head against it and come away with moss in our hair. It's good. Okay, so we don't necessarily know what a soil blocker is. I'm glad I asked. Buy the book on your site for the signed copy, correct? Yes, Shandy. Buy it on the site, and then he will go ahead and sign those for you. So, soil blocker is this tool that you tamp it down in soil, and it'll like cookie cuts blocks, literal blocks of soil. And so people don't use plastic containers for everything, or like 50 to 72 cell seedling trays. It helps you get away from those. And so a big thing about it is like less less plastic use. There really is a big ease to them. You can also get so many seeds started in a small place, which is a huge thing for us who may or may not start seeds in their front room of their house, because that's the only spot I have. So soil blockers are super cool. I'll encourage you to go Roots Air Prune. Yeah. I'll encourage you to go look those up. North Star just tagged it in. So you can go to the Johnny's page and see what I got. Like I said, I got the 20 set, which is I think 3/4 inch, and the 2-inch. And how the 2-inch ones work is they have a dibber. So if you don't know, the dibber is the tool that helps you make holes. It can be a large one. Of course, I can't reach one. There's big ones that will let you plant like seedlings out. It just makes a hole in the ground. It's cone shaped. And so the 2-inch has a dibber in it, so that way it already makes the indent for the 3/4 inch block to go up to the 2-inch. I really hope that makes sense. So it's an easy way to pot up. Love me a good dibber. Yeah. Also, who made these things up? These words are funny. Makes me laugh. Just got my soil blockers. So best way to build a wood box for drainage is a 3-sided wood box. That's how I'll do mine. Or I've seen 2 ways. I've seen people leave like a little gap on under the side walls. And so I'm going to play around with all of that this winter. I want a tall rubber like Charles D. I don't know what that is. A tall dibber. Okay. Makes more sense. Europeans have used soil blocks for 100 plus years. You know what? The U.S. is a little on the late side on a lot of things, unfortunately. So yeah, Europe, a lot of European countries have been using soil blockers forever. They wouldn't even think to use the amount of plastic that we use. And it's not just necessarily the plastic, but the ease of it too. So, autocorrect. Why isn't your papaya growing? Good question. You'll have to tell me what's wrong with it. Or like, what's it doing? Is it dibble? I thought it was dibber. North Star might be correcting me. Also, these words are just funny to me. Okay, so that's my Christmas list. I'll go for things that were on my Christmas list last year too that I got, as well as what's on my list this year, just in case you haven't gotten them. Hori Hori was big on my list. I've had one from years ago. I got a second one, so that way I had one at my home garden and at my farm. That was on my list. Dibble. It's almost 4 months and still 5 centimeters high. Yeah, I'd agree with Chicken Patty. I'm wondering if they need some food. What's the color like on their leaves? Is it a nice rich green, or are they almost leaning toward transparent, going a light color? Love my Hori Hori. Yeah. So Hori Hori is a wonderful, if you're like a small, when I say small, I mean like you're gardening in your backyard. Even if you have an acre garden back there, like Hori Hori is still a perfect tool for you. Because you can cut with it, you can measure with it, you can dig with it, you can, yeah, so it works as a knife and a trowel. It's great. Get that. A big thing for me on my Christmas list last year is I did the plastic plant markers. And my mom is still a stocking person, so she's always like, what little things do you want in your stocking? And they're always thoughtful or whatever, but last year I was very specific, and I was like, I want plant stakes, and I want, what's the word? Organza bags? Did I say that right? The mesh bags for seed saving. Little stuff like that is great to include in your wish list, because even if you get extra of them, they come in handy. Hori-horis are sharp. Yes, it is a knife. So, like, and the way I say that, I mean, like, it is a sharp knife. So be aware, and if you're getting it, get the one that has a sheath, because it's a few extra dollars, and not only would it protect your blade, it will also protect others from your blade or yourself. I used my butcher knife until it broke. Okay. Yes. So like I said, last year I had the plastic ones on my list. This year I have popsicle sticks on my list, because one thing about like cleaning up my farm this year is that as I'm pulling things out and turning over my beds, it was a nuisance to go through and pull out all of these plastic plant labels that I don't want in my soil. Where if I had the popsicle sticks, I could leave them just fine and they'll break down eventually. I switched to popsicle sticks, so that's on my list this year. I use my lawnmower, but I will try the weed whacker. Yeah, I got it from someone on Instagram. Let me think on that for a minute. The whole weed whacking in a garbage can to shred it up. Yeah. Yeah, some people use like paint stirring sticks too. And then if you're going to go that way, and depending on the size and how much you want to do, a wood burner is an awesome idea. A wood burner is a nice, inexpensive gift. I think mine was maybe $20. And that way I can write on my sticks, or I can at least do like a symbol coating on my sticks, so that way I know what's what, and I'll just have like a legend in my journal that tells me what symbol goes to what. 'Tis the season for making sourdough bread. That's another good, if we're kind of erring on the homesteadery side of it, not quite gardening. Sourdough, there's a proofing basket that I can't think of what the name of it is. It starts with a B, and I always say it wrong. Yeah, my ducks pulled out my plant markers last year. I grew 100 tomatoes. Windy loom. It was like a surprise every time something came up. So many things that you can cut into strips. My first year gardening, I replaced the blinds in my house, and I cut up all those plastic blinds and used those as strips. They were just going to go in the garden or the garbage anyways, or recycle or what have you, but I at least got a use out of them first before they went there. Yeah, wood burning. And like I said, utilize symbols, because if you write out like old German tomato 10 times, and you're 10 or whatever times, it takes a while. So you know that a square means old German tomato. And once you run out of your basic shapes, now make a pattern, and you make like a square and a circle means Hungarian wax pepper. So use that. That's a good idea. James, I love that. I labeled almost nothing and foraged my garden. I like that. That's cool. Fermenting lids. Those are on my list this year. So it's not specific to in the garden, but it's a way to use my produce. Fermenting lids is something that I want to get into more. I've just dabbled with it. And I would like to be able to use that as another form of preservation for my food. To dabble. Have you not heard that phrase? Like stuck my toe in the water kind of idea. I haven't jumped into it completely, but I've tried it a couple times. That's how I use that. The giant Korean crocs. Here, I gotta press show. They were concerned about that comment for some reason. Yeah, Crocs is another good one to be able to utilize your produce for fermentation. That's a good one. Another thing I'm doing is stamps. I found this cool stamp set that it gives me, and this is garden related, I promise. It gives me, so it's rectangular and it has rows in it that I can like write my own stamp out. So when I'm seed saving, I can go ahead as I'm packing up what I started to do this year is when I seed save, I'll do a big bag for myself, and then I'll also do so many smaller bags for swaps that I'm in, and I'll stamp them as I go. And that way I'm not writing everything out. So it looks cool. So that's on my Christmas list too, is an interchangeable stamper. Should you freeze seeds? Honestly, I say no. I don't freeze seeds. The only ones I would stick in the freezer if you got them, and this is actually perfect. A lot of you just got orders in. The seeds that should go in the freezer are the seeds that need cold stratification, because those seeds, it doesn't matter how long they're in the freezer, but they do need to go into a cold space for so long prior to starting them. So your lavender, your coneflower, echinacea. Should have wrote a list down for this. Look through the seeds you have. It should say on them if they need cold stratification. It has a new symbol, and that will tell you, put those ones in a Ziploc bag, put those in your freezer, because then they're ready to rock. Just don't forget they're in there. Hey, Candace. I'm late when you're not on. I'm on time. Sorry, Candace. One day we'll get on the same schedule. Freeze dryer in a couple years, hopefully. Freeze dryer has been something on my list for the last couple years, and I've decided this year to make it a priority. As you guys know, I have the farm, and I decided the first freeze dryer is an investment, but it's something you'll have forever, and in what you get out of it, it pays for itself over time. But I decided I'm only getting the medium or the large, whichever one I can get to, and my patience will obviously play into that. The first couple grand that come in from my farm is going to pay for the freeze dryer. And then, like, I'm working on it in my area is kind of like co-op type services. And so when I have my freeze dryer, I'll have the ability to let others use it when I'm not utilizing it. If someone needs to put a set in there, they can like rent it for however long it takes them to freeze dry their product. So keep that in mind. It's a way to help pay for some of these things that we're doing. Yep. Cold stratification can be done with winter sowing. Plant now. Not quite, Jenny. I can't plant too much yet. I start my winter sowing mid-January. I'm curious, what are you starting right now as you are winter sowing? It's a great tip. I've been reminding you guys for weeks, make sure you're collecting your old milk jugs, water jugs, vinegar jugs, and put them aside so that way winter sowing, you're prepared for it. Now, someone said this to me, not to me. I watched a YouTube video, but it felt like it was to me. You don't have to use jugs for winter sowing. You just have to create the same condition. Just remember that. And I was like, I don't know why this never clicked with me. So there's plenty that I can start in trays and put a humidity dome over it. And it should work pretty close to the same. You do have to like pop holes in it, but I'm good with that. Broccoli. Yeah, so I will be starting, I'm going to be winter sowing my purple broccoli so that way it's ready to rock. Broccoli is great for spring, at least in my area. Ooh, apples in the freeze dryer. It's the thing, I want to do everything in it. It's a huge investment. Even if you have like, people in your area who you want to go in on it with. I mean, that's not a terrible idea. I do that with a friend who I'm doing a wreath workshop in. We put together our like shopping lists for our farms this year, and there's certain tools where it would be so silly if I got and she got. That's where this co-op comes into place. So we were looking, for instance, at hoop benders to build like cold frames, and she was like, I didn't know if I wanted the 3 or the 4 foot one. And I was like, I was kind of considering that too. And she's like, great, you get the 3, I'll get the 4. And then we can swap them. Like, that's the barter system is great. So make sure you're utilizing that. And make sure you're connecting with the people in your area. Build yourself a co-op. We just kind of got started on it in the last couple months, and it's already bringing fruition into my life, and I love it. I already have a group of growers who I'm doing a seedling sale with. I have Laura who I'm doing workshops with. It was a great way to network. So, okay, back to, let's see, my Christmas list. I had like frost fabric, shade fabric. I had all these things on my Christmas list too. A big one I had is that's a little more expensive, is a 5-gallon salad spinner. That is on my Christmas list. And that's because I produce greens at a higher rate than most most like home growers, but just in case you do too, that's on my list. Let's see. Kevin did a video where he and the hermit camera guy freeze dried and tried lots of things from the garden. It was fun to watch. Have you guys tried freeze dried food? I actually really enjoy freeze dried food. I like the crunch of it. I'm a crunchy person. I haven't gotten into my pickled green tomatoes, and it's my first year doing them, and I need to try them. Next on my Christmas list, I'm kind of thinking out loud now because there's a ton on it. Let's do a little like 2 or 3 more things. I haven't seen a ton of you guys putting in what's on your Christmas list because I would like to know what's on there too. I talked to Luke the other day, and sorry, I shook the camera. It was tilting. I asked him what his favorite garden tool was, and those of you who watched the live stream for our launch probably know it. But he had like it was a spade or a trowel. It wasn't quite a full-grown shovel. It was a mix between a shovel and a hand trowel, and it was almost like the head of a hand trowel on a 3 or 3.5 foot handle. And he said that's one of his favorite tools in the garden. And I popped it on my list because I was like, it must be good. I'm going to try it. So that one's on my list this year too. You tried pickled eggs. I'm not against trying it. Eggs bother me sometimes, so it's on my list at some point to even just give it a go. But okay, so North Star is talking about how they purchased a lot of freeze-dried food and herbs. If you don't know, if you haven't had the chance to purchase freeze-dried food, it's quite expensive. Freeze-dried foods are almost like 30 maybe % more than like dried food that you purchase. And so that could be, if that's something you invest in, that could be another reason to invest in a dryer for yourself. Lauren, I'm so glad you brought that up. She said cast iron anything. Yes, I use a lot of cast iron, and I'm also switching all of my bakeware to stoneware because it's better. It's just better. So yes, it is still garden related because I'm cooking my food. Okay. Grow lights. Oh, good. I'm glad you brought that up. Grow lights can be on your list too. Remember, you do not need the fanciest grow light out there, right? A lot of people grow things under shop lights, and it works just fine. And grow lights are a perfect thing to give others in your life for ideas. James put a light in the coop if you want them to lay over winter. Chicken patty, yes, people put a light in their coop. Please be careful. I have heard of too many stories where their chicken coops burned down. I even had like a close call my first year with chickens, as I had a light over my brooding station, and luckily the light went out before it fell in somehow, and that brooding station was in my house. It would have probably burnt my house down. So I want you to be very, very mindful if you're going to be putting a light in your coop, where if you use like a brooding plate, even for larger chickens, they can hang around it and it's less of a fire risk. So keep that in mind. A brooding plate might be a better option. Advice on growing a strawberry patch this coming season. Sue, you're going to want to get your dormant plants in early spring, and you'll get some strawberries off them this year for sure, but it'll be the next year that you really get them going. In the fall, I take all of my runners that, if you don't know, you have a mother plant and it sends off baby plants and it does just like this. It'll loop, and each time it loops down, it drops roots, and it'll send off multiple of those. You can take each section that's dropped roots and transplant them back into your strawberry bed at the spacing you want or what have you, to really make that bed dense and ready to rock next year. 900 square garden. Time to garden. Everyone is impressed with my 900 square foot garden, but don't have the time to garden. So they don't have the time, and if that's the case, you have the perfect opportunity to get co-op-y, If they don't have the time to garden, that might mean they don't have the time to start seeds. So take that as an opportunity for you to start seeds and even sell them, gift them, whatever you want to do to them, and do the research for them. Pick the varieties that don't take time, out of someone's day, and teach them. A lot of people say they don't have time to garden, but in reality, it just seems like a much bigger task to take on than it actually is. Put the plants in the ground. They want to grow, right? So maybe they won't get the biggest harvest off something if they're not going to add extra time into it, but they still will get a harvest. So make sure you're educating those around you. No, Moses Peters, your chickens just stare at you. What if you have snacks? Go in with snacks. They'll run after you then. The best grow lights for winter seed starting. That's my point. You don't need the best grow light. Just saying. And I couldn't even give you brands right now. Luke and I have both done grow light like reviews, kind of. So go onto our YouTube channel and press search and type grow lights in, and you'll find a myriad of videos. That should help you there, just because I don't know them right off the top of my head. But I encourage you to know that you don't have to spend the money on the super expensive ones. Yeah. Bok choy. I'm doing bok choy this year, and I'm super excited for it. Has anyone else done bok or pak choy? You're so welcome, Oil and Wellness with Marsha. So I can go with Marsha. I was reading from the beginning. Marsha, is this one of your first times on? Because I apologize. I don't recognize that name too often. So if you are, welcome, and thank you for being here. Yes, so I said this at the beginning. Do holidays consume your life? Because they consume mine. I went to Florida to visit grandparents, mine and my in-laws. It was way longer than we expected it to be. We had almost zero service, so I couldn't get emails to send. And honestly, I decided just to let holidays take over. So I apologize. Everything is done. I just have to send you the email. It's coming out today. If you get the email and you're like, I've decided I don't want to do it, cool. Just let me know and I'll fix it on my end, or I'll be that person's partner or something. But yes, it's coming. I promise. The holidays, I've now learned this. I probably won't launch one in the middle of a holiday, but that's fine. I'm still doing this one. I'm putting a swing in my chicken coop for my girls. Our girls love swinging, so do it. Bok choy, one of the easiest crops I have grown. I'm super excited for that. Super easy, direct seed them, and when the ground is workable and they do their own thing. I put a Johnny's order in, because that's where I'm getting like my frost cloth and all of that. So as soon as that comes in, I'm actually setting up those beds in the middle of winter. So that way, hopefully I can get my ground workable earlier this year. Because I'd like to so For my farm, I do a CSA. As a lot of you do know, a CSA is community supported agriculture. Know that literally anyone can do a CSA. As we were talking, someone had a 900 square foot garden. They could do a CSA. If they grew a produce that they could support one other family, technically it can be used as a CSA. So members purchase a share of your farm and they get produce each week, or whichever duration you pick. Anyways, I'm doing a spring CSA this year. I broke it up. So I have a spring, I have I call it the summer harvest CSA. So it goes from summer through harvest. And then I'm actually adding in a winter CSA too, now that I have infrastructure in place that I can still be growing greens all year long. My goal is to make it so my members have the ability to eat farm fresh all year long. So I want to be able to get my ground workable as early as possible so that way I can be able to start producing boxes for my members. Yeah. If you guys want, would you guys be interested in a strictly like learning more about how CSAs work? I would not mind doing an episode on that, and we can kind of go just start to finish and see if that's something that is interest of you. So let me know. But the extension office is inactive till February. Is it you say you think you have a CSA in your town? She said that extension office is inactive, but put it out on your Facebook marketplace, because if there's a CSA in your town, they're watching that or they post there. So either search it there or ask. Just say, is there anything like this in my area? And no, if there is something like it in your area does not mean you cannot start your own. Because maybe your garden maybe that garden or farm can hold 5 CSAs. Well, I'm pretty sure there's more than 5 families in your area. So you can hold 2 memberships, right? You can help support 2 families that year. So yes, make sure if it's something that's interest you, don't let another CSA in your area deter you from doing it yourself. Okay. Goes to the deer. Any advice on keeping them out? Fencing. I also have a lot of deer-resistant plants that I'm transplanting around my fencing, and that helps a ton. Also, if you have bunnies like we do, because I love animals, I really do. But I'm going to get myself a good pair of mittens because these bunnies drive me bonkers. I do very small, like chicken wire fencing all the way around the base of it has to be 3 feet tall, but this was a more cost-effective way for me to go, is to just put it around the base of my fences that are already in place. Motion-activated sprinklers. Some of these motion-activated things are like hit or miss, because I've seen people respond with like, it did not bother my animals at all, and they're just out there in a shower eating my food. So physical barriers seem to be the best. Even 2 very short, expensive fences, the deer will avoid because they don't want to get tangled up in them. Yeah, chicken wire. Like I said, my fences are 5 feet tall, 4.5, 5, I don't know. And then the bottom 2.5 technically is, so I'm cutting it. But I got a really good deal on 2.5 foot chicken wire, so I did it. Yeah. That is, Mole H brought up, deer urine. That is, or male urine, sorry, to deter plants. Goodness, guys, I'm reading too many things at once. I apologize. Male urine to deter deer. Yes, you can use coyote urine. You can use your own. If that's something you want to do and go around, there's lots of people who do it, and it has its place. So, definitely an option. Drip kits. That is another thing that you can add to your wish list. Say you and your significant other want to go in on a combined gift because you're both thrilled about it. Put drip irrigation on your list. That's a good one too. Or for me, like I needed last year I needed a pump, a gas-powered pump to pump out of the pond to support my drip irrigation system. And that was a great Christmas idea too. Cougar urine. Chris, I don't know where you'd get that. I have. I've seen listings for other types of urine, but not cougar. So, yes. If you have the availability to get it, get it. I have a big dog and the deer aren't afraid. Yeah, no, my dogs wouldn't do it. My dogs do help keep the bunnies at bay, but they still get in. And it makes me so mad because it's like you see the mama bunnies sending in their children because they're smaller. And I hate it. It makes me mad. Groundhogs. I have a groundhog. He does not bother my home garden. I'll leave like a pile of scraps for him by his little home, and he leaves my garden alone. So maybe share. That's a good one too. Yeah. Meant for the freezer. You guys are awesome. Okay, let me think real quick. See if I can come up with one last. UV shirts. That's another good Christmas gift idea. I don't want to talk just tools and stuff because there's a lot we can be utilizing for tools other than like your hand tools for the garden. UV shirts. I personally really enjoy gauze material shirts because I can wear long sleeves and be fully covered and not be, overheating because they're very airy and breathe really well. So that's another option. And hats. If you don't have a sun hat, get that on your Christmas list. Go pick it out. Make it a sun hat that you really like. And I have 3 of them. They sit in my car. Girls, there's ones that you can take your hair and put it, up on top of your head, because this is my gardening look half the time. And it's a sun hat that has a hole in the top for your big bun to stick out of. So I have that and a normal sun hat, and I love them both. Put those on your Christmas list. That's another good one. Live animal traps. Those are another good thing to add to your Christmas list. If you don't have one, they're a great tool. Say you do have a groundhog who is bothering your garden and you're not the one who wants to go out and shoot him. Go and trap him and responsibly transplant them somewhere else. Don't put it by someone else's garden because they will be very mad at you. So yes, that is another one. Melanomas removed is not fun. It's not, and we need to get really serious about it because it happens to a lot of people. There is responsible sun exposure and there's irresponsible sun exposure. So make sure you guys are, paying attention to that. Oh, good. Robin, perfect. Because you're way out this way. My CSA doesn't reach here. Even if it did, there's room for everyone. So I'm going to do that next week. We're going to do like an intro to a CSA. I'll basically tell you how I started mine. And what it looks like. So for those of you who are interested, great. Even if you don't think you would be interested, I encourage you to be here next week for that because it may seem lofty to you, but it may also be very approachable once it gets going. Oh my goodness. Farmer Jake is calling me nonstop. Sorry, guys. All right. We are finishing up. See if I can rack my brain one last time. Sun protection, hand tools, cooking tools, dehydrators, food preservation, canning lids, canning rings. Just kidding. Don't ever order canning rings because you'll have 700 of them. Storage. That's another good option. If you like using like mesh bags to hang your root storage, that's a good one. Grow bags. Those are great. A new nozzle for your hose. That's a good one. Little stocking stuffers. You want C-clips and truss supports. Those little clips that help hold your tomato arm up so it doesn't snap off while it's growing all these beautiful babies for you. Those are all great stocking stuffers. A soil test. If, say that's not necessarily in your budget, or someone needs a Christmas idea and you want to make it something you'll use, have them get a soil test for you. That's another great one. Use the people around you, because there came a time when I was first getting into all this that gardening stuff didn't even come across my mind when I was creating my Christmas lists. But in my world, when giving a gift, I personally don't love asking people, what do you want this year? I take pride in getting things that I know they'll love and they'll use. And so I decided that, yeah, I can put these gardening things onto my list, because now they know I'm so passionate about it that this is how I want to spend my resources. Christmas gifts are resources. So make sure you're putting that in. Compost thermometer. These are all things and great ideas for others around you. Big and small. Cedars. Earthway cedar. That's on my Christmas list this year. So, yeah. All right. I think I'm going to sign off for the day. Yeah, we'll talk CSAs. Thank you. I do have an Instagram. Thank you, North Star, for putting it up. I really appreciate it. Technically, my Instagram name started way before I even knew Luke. It's just coincidence in the world, right? Mine is pronounced MIgardener, and it's MI because I live in Michigan. So MIgardener, all one word. And it reminds me of my grandpa, and he's the one who got me into growing food. And that's why I have that name. And so MIgardener, come follow me. You can see me make fools of myself on reels that I'm trying to get into, because who doesn't need a good laugh? Set up wish list, and I only have 68 subscribers still. Learning all things in YouTube and gardening, oils, wellness, and Marsha. Go ahead and drop your YouTube here. I'd love to come follow you. Is it exactly what your name is here? Because I'll come find you. I'll find you. I'll be your new follower. We all start somewhere. I have very low subscribers because I go hit and miss on videos. But the biggest advice I've ever been given is start before you're ready. You think it's silly? Do it anyways, because some people need laughs. That's cool. And you'll get more comfortable and you'll be able to put them out. My biggest constraint is time and editing. So I have a backlog. I have a year of videos that are just sitting backlogged right now because I didn't have time or the knowledge in the summer to sit down and learn how to do it, which is why winter is perfect. Learn now how to edit quickly and how to become efficient in these, so that way when you are trying to put out a quick video in the summer, you know exactly how to edit it and how to make this an easy thing for you to do. So, Marsha, I'm coming your way. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday and you're really enjoying this holiday season as it continues. And I look forward to talking CSA next week. So I want you to bring your journals next week because we're going to go step by step. And I hope you guys, get into some sort of co-op in your area. Love the garden. Good. I'm glad you do. Thank you. I laugh at my reels. I think they're funny. I can laugh at myself. It's fine. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. I will see you next week.